Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Beefcake Games. Beefcake, I'll be your host today. Metal Gear Solid fucking 5, The Phantom Pain. We're back at it again. Mission 6 here. This one's called Where Do the Bees Sleep? The objective of this mission is to secure a weapon called the Honeybee that was entrusted to these Afghani rebel-type group that was given to them by the CIA. So we're going to try and infiltrate this base, locate somebody who can tell us where exactly this weapon is, and get on with stealing it. Now, this mission contains our pretty much our first real cutscene since the introduction mission, which I didn't show because it's just super spoilery, and I feel people should experience that on their own. But suffice to say, that first mission, which is also actually a tutorial, which was very, however you want to look at it, I think was kind of cleverly hidden. And it made a lot of sense within the story for that section to be a tutorial, but it was really great. The opening hospital scene sequence is a lot of fun, very, very cool, and definitely something you should experience. If you're looking into playing this game, please don't spoil that for yourself, and go ahead and, if you want to watch stuff, watch after the first mission, but leave that first mission to experience on your own. That's what I did, and it was well worth it. Alright, so looking at our map here, trying to figure out where we want to go. We got our little Jeep here. This time I deployed with Quiet. So I sent her to scout out this base that is actually has a delivery point. And that's where we want to go. So I'm going to have her scout, and then we'll take out everybody with the little outpost, and we'll use that delivery point to get us to the actual mission area. Now this technique is a little dangerous because the delivery point in the mission area is actually right in the middle of the base. So, there's a high percentage chance that you're going to get caught, or somebody's going to see you, and it's going to cause problems. So that actually happened to me on my first replay of this mission. So this is actually my second time through, because I want to make sure I show how to do things stealthily. Now, Quiet is somebody that I unlocked recently, and she has her uses, definitely. So far, I think I like D-Dog better, simply because he's much faster at marking stuff. Now, you can send Quiet ahead, like if you know you're going to be somewhere, you can send her to that area to scout it, and even start killing or tranking people, while you're on your way to that area, or to that outpost, or wherever it is that you're going, which is very, very cool. And, with D-Dog, he can only scout so far, so, he's going to be able to scout wherever you are, so you're going to have to come up to a base before you're going to be able to scout it out with him and get those marks. However, D-Dog marks stuff a lot faster and a lot more frequently than her, and Quiet can only mark what she sees. So D-Dog will actually mark people inside of buildings, he'll mark weapons, everything is going to get marked with D-Dog, and that is not necessarily the case with Quiet. Quiet is cool because she can take out multiple guys. You can get her tranquilizer sniper rifle, which is going to be super handy, which you actually see me using here. I messed up that shot a little bit, so I took some pentazemin so we can steady our aim a little bit. There we go. But overall, Quiet is pretty cool, but you got to get your bond up with her real high before you can get any silencers for either her main gun or her trank gun. So, that's something to keep in mind. You might want to do a bunch of side ops with her first, just to get that bond level up so you can get her really cool gear. Now, she also has, I don't remember if she's wearing it, I didn't see earlier, but she can get different body paint. One of them is her covered in blood. It's supposed to scare the enemy. So, her tactics are really, attacking from far because she's a sniper, so I don't know that would really be handy. But it looks cool, so that's what I used for a little while until I got sick of it. Alright, so we got our folding our guys. That guy was not worth taking, so we're just going to blow him the hell up. And steal our resources and other such things before we hop in our cardboard box and move along on our way. And you can see that icon. That's Quiet down there. Or is that my Jeep? I'm not sure. But Quiet does come up with a little green diamond dog icon on your map. I think that's my Jeep that I'm going back to. So far I would say my favorite buddy is D-Dog. However, Quiet can be very handy, as you're going to see later in this mission. She's going to do something for me that D-Dog could probably not do, which I wasn't expecting her to do. It was just kind of an unintended consequence, which was pretty cool. Now, at the end of this video, I do want to do a little bit of an update for things to come. Somebody had asked me in a previous video about Destiny, if I was going to be doing any content for the Taken King, and my answer at that time was yes, but now it's looking more towards no, but I'll get into that a little bit more towards the end here. Now, for all you fans of Metal Gear out there, this game is pretty much the second coming, I feel, of Metal Gear. You know, I haven't enjoyed a Metal Gear game this much since Snake Eater, actually. Snake Eater is my favorite. I think it's just a really great standalone story, and it kind of really paints a picture for where the downfall of Big Boss came, and, you know, how he came to be who he is. And a lot of people had a big problem with you know, Kojima replacing David Hayter with Kiefer Sutherland for this game. Now, I initially did have a bit of an issue with this as well, but now hearing Kiefer and how he, you know, portrays Big Boss in this game, I feel like it was a good choice. You know, it made sense for the character. A quick note: I had Quiet come ahead and scout. She dropped some supplies for me here that she found, so that's also something that's pretty cool that she does. Now, as far as Kiefer Sutherland and David Hayter go, David Hayter was great. You know, he was fantastic in all the other Metal Gear games that he was in, but the story that's being told in this game and the character development of Big Boss, I felt warranted that change. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, Kiefer doesn't even, you know, say much. Big Boss doesn't talk a lot in this game. And I feel like he talks just the right amount. You know, after losing body parts, he's now got this horn in his head. He can't even think straight, you know, doesn't remember languages, you know, that he used to know, such as Russian. As those of you that played Snake Eater know, that whole game was actually in Russian. It was just, you know, in English so that we could understand it, but they were all speaking Russian for, you know, 90% of the time in that game. So if you didn't know that, Big Boss no longer can speak Russian, so that's why we have some of these missions to get interpreters for different languages in this particular game. But the horn in his head is what's messing up his the language center in his brain, so that he can't understand that. But anyway, back to Kiefer. You know, I feel like after everything that he's been through, he's lost limbs. He's lost his ability to speak on the level that he used to. You know, he lost his base, his you know, second in command, one of his best friends, Kaz, lost a couple of limbs. You know, he's lost all of his soldiers and everything that he's worked for, and it's all because of Cypher or Major Zero. And so that kind of paints a picture a little bit for maybe somebody who's more subdued at this point. You know, I mean, the guy's been in a coma for 9 years. He wakes up and Ocelot's like, "Oh, hey, dude, go rescue Kaz." You know, you're back, so be back. And I feel like it was probably a lot for him to take in. And people have always said in the past that, you know, Big Boss is a chatty guy. He's a talkative character. Well, if I went through all the shit that he's been through at this point in the story, I probably wouldn't talk a lot either. I generally don't talk a lot to begin with as a person myself. So I can definitely understand the reasons behind his decreased amount of dialogue. And I feel it honestly does make sense in the story, and I don't really have a problem with it. Kiefer acted him very well and appropriately. You know, I think Boss makes decisions appropriately and acts in a way that is congruous with who Big Boss is and the growth that he's experienced, or the development, you could say, that he's experienced at this point in the story. So, you know, everybody's going to have their own opinion, but I think Kiefer Sutherland did a good job. I think that it made sense within the gameplay. And, you know, my opinion on that may change as I get farther into the game. But I feel like he does just the right amount of talking. Literally any less dialogue from him, and I might be upset any more than it may have been actually too much. So I think Kojima really nailed it
He's coming too.
as far as
Roger that.
you know, his dialogue goes. And plus, there's a lot of tapes and stuff where he's talking as well that you can listen to. Where he's, you know, discussing things with Ocelot or Miller or Huey, even, you know, Emmerich. Now, something else to note about Quiet is I guess you can get a tape of her humming. You're probably going to hear it at some point in this video. She hums all the time when she's ready. Like, so she has her laser sight, you know, on a guy, and she's ready to attack, she'll start humming. And you can talk to her to get her to stop doing that if you'd like. But I think it's kind of a cool feature. I thought it was very interesting. But if you get a tape of that humming and you listen to it, it will actually steady your aim. So that's something that's kind of cool too. Alright, so we're kind of methodically working our way through this base here. Trying to Fulton out as many guys as we can that we need, or that seem to be worth Fultoning. At this point, I have a lot of A+ rank soldiers, so those are kind of the guys that I'm looking for. If they have a B or above, then I'm probably going to take them. Anything below that, I'll either leave them or just kill them. So let's see, this guy looks like he has like an A, so we're going to take him. This is also the first mission that I feel really takes some time. The Over the Fence mission, which was the last one, mission 5. That mission did take a bit of time. However, this one, for me, took much longer. Especially when you first do the mission and you don't have this tranquilizer sniper rifle and you don't have Quiet with you and you don't have D-Dog. You know, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. It's going to be harder to be stealthy. And I believe I mess it up a little bit in here, but you know, it was difficult. This was a hard mission for me. I had to play through it a couple of times before I was able to reach the end and get to the boss fight that's at the end of this mission. But you know, at this point, let's see, we killed that guy there because he ain't worth it. And we're inside right now, so it's going to be a lot more difficult to, you know, trank all these dudes and get them out, Fulton them, and it's just going to be kind of a mess. So at this point here, I'm just like, you know, fuck it. I'm going to kill everybody that's inside of this cave system because it's not worth it. You know, there are other soldiers. If one of these guys had like a special skill that I needed, then I would probably go out of my way if I knew who it was to get that skill. But I'm just not even sure about who's doing what here, so I just wanted to kind of get in and get out. Now, something you can do in this mission, there's a prisoner, and if you extract him, then Miller or Ocelot, I can't remember who, but one of them will contact you and say, hey, this guy was able to tell us exactly where the honeybee is, so that guy spotted me, so I'm on an alert, and everything kind of went to shit. But anyway, so yeah, the guy that you rescue, the prisoner, the main prisoner, will tell you where the honeybee is exactly, so you can just go and grab it. Otherwise, if you miss him, which I do in this particular run of this mission, you have to just find it on your own. At some point later, Miller is going to tell me, oh, if you have night vision goggles, you know, that might help you locate it, which I used, and it did. Because the honeybee is not in the same position each time you play the mission. It's actually carried around by one of the guards, and they will stash it at different places depending on how things play out. So if things go the way that you want them to, you're going to extract the prisoner, and he's going to tell you where it is, and you're just going to go grab it. And one of the guards may even be carrying it when you go to extract the prisoner, so you might get a 2-for-1. But as it stands, they probably hit it after I caused that alert, because I did find it in a, you're going to see here in a couple minutes, it's like hidden inside a wall in one of these rooms, which was kind of cool. So there's been a lot of talk about the story in this game and how sparse it is, and the ending isn't really there. And the answer you're going to get about that stuff kind of depends on who you talk to, which is interesting. You know, it's not. Some people say, "Oh yeah, I was totally satisfied. The ending was great. It was there. You know, it made sense." And some people are saying, "Oh well, you know, there is no real ending. It was cut from the game." And everything's kind of left open. So I'm really interested to get there myself and see what's what. Uh, but, you know, I mean, as it stands, as long as the XOF thread is resolved, then I'll be satisfied. Because, you know, as a Metal Gear fan, I know the story. I know what happens, you know, after this game, and I don't know how much time there's going to be between the end of this game and the beginning of Metal Gear 1, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Now, you can Fulton the prisoner through an opening in the roof in this cave, and that will actually complete one of the mission tasks for this mission, so that's something to think about as well. So I want to start showing some of the goofier things that you can do in this game. So I have a few missions recorded beyond this. I think I have 10, 11, 12, and 13, possibly 14 as well, already recorded. I just need to import those and add the commentary, clean it up a bit, you know, whatever. So what I'm going to do is, moving forward for the gameplay that I'm going to be recording in the future, I'm going to try and, you know, just do things in more of a goofy, silly way, and not worry so much about the stealth. I was told that some of the stealth play is a bit boring to watch, so I do apologize for that. So I will be trying to be a little bit more chaotic and a little goofier in the future. Now that I've kind of padded out my mother base ranks, I have a ton of guys in my waiting room and stuff like that, so I'm not as worried. Alright, so here's our first cutscene.
You look well rested, big boss. My, you became a demon for such little weapons as that? Well, I'm sure you'll see the bigger picture eventually. If you get out of here alive. Rest in peace this time. I'll see you in hell, boss.
What the hell was that thing? It was huge.
So we got the skulls here doing some
The skulls.
funny business.
What's he doing to that soldier?
So here's the first real boss fight in the game. Now, the first time that I played this mission, I didn't even know that it was a boss fight. I just avoided them and ran out. And I was able to complete the mission without fighting these guys at all. I actually didn't even know that you could kill them. You know, I assumed that since they're so much faster than you at this point, and you may not have developed a ton of gear, this wasn't actually a boss fight. But you can use the honeybee here. And Quiet is actually taking most of them out, if you'll notice. She's just railing them in the head. Like, if I hadn't plugged that guy with a rocket launcher, she would have shot him in the face. Like she's about to do to this gentleman right here. See, she's just whacking him in the head. Down he goes. Now, to talk a little bit about that cutscene, I felt that that was... you know, there's not a lot there, some people would say. Some people might even say, hey, well, you know, why didn't Big Boss say anything to Skullface? No, you know, why are you doing this? Who are you? All that good business. You know, in previous Metal Gear games, there probably would have been a lengthy discussion there. But I feel like at this point, Big Boss probably may not even really care who Skullface is or what his motivations are. You know, for him, it may just be enough that this guy fucked him over, you know, a million ways from Sunday, and all he wants is revenge, you know. And at that point where he had his first contact with Skullface right there, he was kind of at Skullface's mercy. So, you know, it may be a thing where, you know, Big Boss he doesn't even want to say anything. He doesn't want to let anything loose. You know, he doesn't want Skullface to know that he's gotten to him. You know, he just wants to get his revenge and take him out. Now this part I sped it up a little bit because I'm just going back to grab my other Jeep, because as far as I'm aware, if I left this here, then it would be gone. It would not get folded out with me. So I came back to get it, and then I go back and get the other one, and then I leave the mission. So I thought that was kind of boring. So I just wanted to speed that up a little bit, so maybe I can deal with it. But yeah, so I mean, I think that was an interesting cutscene. You know, we kind of got a glimpse of some kind of robot, possibly a Metal Gear, and so that was our first glimpse of the new Metal Gear. It's actually called Sahelanthropus, which is something to do with bipedal. Or bipeds, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, that's our mission. That's where the bees sleep. So, like I said on my first playthrough of that mission, I did not fight those bosses because one of the mission tasks is to extract the honeybee with all of its ammunition.
This is B-Squad. Arriving shortly at LZ.
Use any of the bullets, so I just whooped it out of there and avoided those skulls. Parasite unit, the mist unit.
Have arrived at LZ. We'll stand by.
There's another boss fight later in the game that I skipped on accident as well. I was just sneaking through the area trying to get the boss's attention so I could get the drop on them. And I ended up actually just sneaking out of the mission entirely. So that was something I thought was kind of... Obviously, you see Wyatt jumped up there. She was a whiz too. so there's the end of our mission. Now we'll see how I did. I think I got
Mission
a
complete.
B or something.
Great work.
Didn't do too great. Increased our bond with Quiet a little bit. Yeah, so we got a B there. Did get a bonus for killing the skulls. But I didn't get any of those other nice bonuses because I fucked it all up in the middle. A little bit of heroism. Of course, our ending credits, which I may skip. I guess not. Usually I skip those.
So this unit in the mist, their speed, the way they jump, it's not human. And those deformities,
They attacked the Soviets, too.
and that Grim Reaper look-alike in charge of them, that giant thing that carried him off. What the hell are they?
Cypher.
What do they want? What's their objective? Why Afghanistan? There's one more thing troubling me.
What happened to the Hamid?
Exactly. Whole squads of hardened Mujahideen killed without a fight, and no trace of BC weaponry. What does it all mean?
That's what we're here to find out.
Yeah, right. If we really need to know, the truth will reveal itself. Even if it's ugly.
Alright, so there's our mission. Here's our rewards. We've got a new command for Quiet, some soldiers. Now, earlier in the video, I talked about Destiny and my plans for that. I got really big into Destiny when it first came out. I really, really liked that game. I joined the Dads of Destiny, and the group that I played with, we kind of splintered off and formed our own small clan. And we played a lot together. We did a lot in the main game. We did all the raids, or the raid, and then we did the Dark Below. We raided in that, did Crota's End. Had a lot of fun. I love playing with those guys. So Destiny was kind of my go-to for that because it's the only multiplayer game that I really play. For most of the time, I'm just a single-player kind of guy. So they're all very excited for the Taken King. And now I was a little let down with the Dark Below. I thought it was kind of more of the same, and it didn't really fix anything, and added some more issues by adding more reputation and more currency and all that garbage. I thought House of Wolves was kind of a step in the right direction, but I feel like they should have made those changes in the Dark Below, and then done like the Taken King kind of changes with the House of Wolves. I also didn't feel that either of those expansions was really worth the time or the money that they cost. I bought them separately because I wasn't sure that I was going to like them, and I tend not to buy stuff unless I know that I'm going to enjoy it. So I was happy with the Dark Below when I first got it, but then after I realized there wasn't a whole lot there aside from the raid, I got kind of disappointed. The raid made it worth it, though. So hearing that the House of Wolves did not have a raid, I didn't buy it. My roommate at the time did buy it, so I was able to play it, and was also kind of disappointed with that expansion as well. So I'm excited for the Taken King, but since I don't actually own the House of Wolves, I can't get the Taken King for whatever reason. My buddy bought it on his account, which has my PS4 set as its primary, so I can use it whenever, but since it's not tied to my account, Destiny says that I don't have it, or Bungie, I guess, says that I don't have it, so I can't play it. I can't get the Taken King, as far as I understand it. And I'm not really willing to shell out another $20 to get the collector's edition that comes with the base game, the first 2 expansions, plus the Taken King. It's just, I'm not gonna pay $20 extra for something that I don't want that I already have. Not gonna do it. I can't do it. There's other things that I, as a responsible adult, need to spend that money on. So some people might say, oh well, it's only $20, but that's a haircut. That's our meal night out with the family, stuff like that. So I'm not gonna do it. So unless Tuesday comes around, the 15th, and I can actually purchase The Taken King without having to buy House of Wolves as well, I won't be playing it. But if it turns out that I can, get the Taken King without buying the House of Wolves, then I will get it, and I'll be doing that. As always, thanks for watching, and like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you next time on Beefcake Games.